Welcome to the Cost Receipts in BearBuy demo. This demo will go over the cost receiving functionality in BearBuy. In this demo, you'll see how to create a cost receipt, how to edit an existing cost receipt, and how to delete an existing cost receipt. Receipts are created to indicate what goods or services have been received. Receipts provide a way to measure what has actually been received versus what was ordered and what was billed by the supplier. There are two types of receipts that can be entered in BearBuy. Those are cost or amount receipts and quantity receipts. Cost receipts, also known as amount receipts, are used for purchase orders based on amount. So, purchase orders that liquidize by amount, mainly amount-only POs or blanket POs. Quantity receipts are used for purchase orders based on item quantity times the unit price. So, purchase orders that liquidize by quantity. Those are mainly goods, POs, and catalog type purchases. In this demo, we're only going to go over cost receipts. So let's get started. So when you first log into BearBuy, the system will automatically take you to the Home Shop page. Currently, we're logged in as just a shopper. So in order to create a cost receipt, you will have to first navigate to the purchase order that you want to receive against. In order to locate the purchase order, let's just go through document search, type in the PO number, and then pull up the PO from there. So hover or move your cursor over the Orders and Document search menu. Then, under Document Search, select Search Documents. This takes you to the simple search page. Here, you could either leave all documents selected or change it and select only purchase order. I'm going to go ahead and leave all documents selected. So from this page, you'll type in the PO that you want to receive against. So I already have my PO number in hand, and that PO number is BB00900323. Once you've entered your PO number, click on Go. If you leave all documents selected, you will see all the document transactions that belong to that purchase order. So in this case, the only other transaction that came up was the requisition associated to the purchase order. If there were additional receipts against this PO, this is where they would also show up, as well as vouchers against the PO. We'll be able to see them on this page as well. So let's go ahead and go straight into the PO. To do that, just click on the purchase order number. This brings up the purchase order information. So to create a cost receipt, simply navigate to the Available Actions section and select Create Cost Receipt. Once selected, click on Go. That pulls up this draft receipt. So receipt is broken up into two sections: the header information section and the receipts line section. So let's look at the header information section first. In the header information section lives the receipt name, the receipt date, packing slip information, supplier name, received by, receipt address, and delivery information. So we're first going to look at the receipt name. The system automatically defaults the receipt name to be the date the receipt is being created, your employee ID number, followed by a number sequence. It may be that your department has a specific receipt naming convention, meaning that they have a specific way to name all their receipts. That's why we suggest going back to your business services department and asking if there is a specific way they name their receipts. For instance, in my department, there is a specific way we name all our receipts. It is the person creating the receipt's initials, followed by the vendor's name, as well as the date that the actual goods or services were received. So I'm going to change this receipt name to fit that naming convention. That is CSP, then the vendor name, followed by the date that I received my services or goods, in this case services, and I received it 2 days ago. Next is the receipt create date, and that's automatically populated when you create receipts. The source is always going to be manual, meaning that you are manually entering this receipt in the system. The receipt number is to be assigned, meaning that once we've added this to the PO, the system will automatically generate a receipt number for this receipt. Next is the receipt date. So that's the date you physically receive the goods and or services. In my case, I received it on the 24th. So I'm going to change it from the 26th to the 24th. If you have a packing slip, this is where you'd enter that packing slip information. If you don't have any, go ahead and skip it. It's not a required or mandatory field to be filled out. The received by will always contain your name. This just is a record in the system that states who created this receipt. So next is the delivery information. Since we're receiving services, not goods, there is no delivery or physical delivery being made, so we could go ahead and also skip the section. Just note that the attachment field lives in the delivery section. So if you choose to attach a copy of the receipt, you could go ahead and do that by selecting attach link and then choosing the file from your desktop or wherever else you've saved that document. The next section is the receipt line section. This is where you would enter the amount or the quantity that you've received. In this case, since it's a cost receipt, I'm only entering the cost or the amount. So if all services were rendered and you need to pay the supplier the full PO price, you'd go ahead and leave that amount there. In my case, only part of the services were delivered and part of them were billed, so I'm going to change this from $500 to $150 as cost received. Once I've entered that information, that's all I need to do. So from here, I can select complete. That completes a receipt, so it adds that record to our purchase order. If I don't want to do that just yet, if I still need to, confirm certain receipts, I could just select Save Updates, and the system will save this receipt as a draft receipt. But I'm going to go ahead and click on Complete. Once I've selected Complete, the system will generate a receipt number for the receipt I just created, as well as, again, reference the PO I received against.
Now let's go over editing and deleting a cost receipt. Receipts in BearBuy can be edited or deleted if a PO has not been vouchered, or if a PO has been vouchered but the voucher status states in process. In either of these two cases, any completed cost receipt can be reopened and then edited or deleted. Receipts in BearBuy cannot be edited or deleted if a PO has been vouchered and the voucher status states paid. Completed receipts cannot be reopened in this case. You'll also see a message stating receipt cannot be reopened because receipt has an invoice that has completed workflow.
So now let's actually reopen a cost receipt, edit a field, and we're also going to go over how to delete a receipt if needed. So first we need to look up our existing receipt. We can look up a receipt two different ways. The first being through the document search tool. So you'll have to navigate to the Orders and Documents menu option, hover over Document Search, and then select Search Documents. There we could type in our receipt number in the simple document search tool. Another way to look up a receipt is to select the Accounts Payable menu option, hover over Invoices and Receipts, and then select Search for Receipts. The only difference between searching through the Accounts Payable menu option and the Document Search menu option is that in the Accounts Payable menu option, you're only limited to pull up receipts. If you look for a receipt under the Document Search menu option, you are able to also pull up any documents associated to that receipt, so its respective purchase order. Through Accounts Payable, you're not able to do that. You're only limited to looking at just the receipt. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on Search for Receipts here and type in the receipt number I want to reopen through this page. So that brings up this advanced receipt search. At the top, you could enter the receipt number, but if you forget what the exact receipt number is, if you scroll down, you have different filtering capabilities. So you could type in the associated PO number if that's all you have, and then select the receipt type, the matching status, receipt source, and so on. In this example, I already have my receipt number, so I'm going to go ahead and type that number in here. So my receipt is 57507. Once you have entered your receipt number, select Go. That pulls up the receipt search results. I just want to go ahead and jump straight into the receipt, so I'm going to click on the receipt number. We are now in the receipt. This receipt is available to be reopened. If this receipt were not, the system would have grayed out the Reopen Receipt button. Since it's not grayed out, let's go ahead and click on the Reopen Receipt button. The system will then ask us if we're sure if we want to reopen this receipt. Click OK. We are now asked to enter a reason why we are reopening this receipt. For this example, I need to reopen this receipt to correct the amount received. I accidentally entered the incorrect amount. So I'm going to enter reopening receipt to correct amount received. You're also able to select certain individuals to receive this email notification. In this example, I'm going to select BFS Training 100, since I know they were also part of this receiving. Once you've selected your email recipients and entered your reason, click on Reopen Receipt. Now we're able to edit or delete this receipt. If we wanted to delete this receipt, all we'd have to do is click on this Delete button. But since we're just editing the amount we've entered on the cost receipt, we're going to scroll down to the receipt line section and adjust the amount. So scroll down. Here we said that we received an invoice of $500. In reality, the invoice was only for $50. So what we're going to do is remove the 500 and enter 50 instead. The line status has not changed, so we're just going to leave it at cost received. After you've made all your changes to this cost receipt, click on Save Updates. Now that we're done editing all the fields on this receipt, Let's go ahead and click Complete. Complete tells the system that we're done editing this receipt and that this receipt should be closed. So again, let's click on Complete. This receipt has been saved and completed. The system displays the receipt number, which has not changed, and again states the PO associated to this receipt.
That concludes the cost receipts in BearBuy demo. You've just seen how to create a cost receipt, how to edit an existing cost receipt, and how to delete an existing cost receipt. Thanks for watching.